Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be diving into Daniel chapter 2. I'm outside, so if you hear wind and little birds and stuff like that, I do apologize. We just left off in Daniel chapter 1 on Tuesday, and in Daniel chapter 1, we find out that because of Daniel and his friends' faithfulness as teenagers, they've now been promoted to become political advisors for King Nebuchadnezzar, the king who exiled them from Judah into Babylon. So, here we go. Daniel chapter 2. Agarrate. It's a lot. Daniel chapter 2 is what I would like to call, the box top of the prophecy puzzle. So if we don't know what prophecy is how God speaks to man. And this could come through visions, this could come through dreams, or this could come with direct, language. But what does prophecy entail? Sometimes it can include, prophecies of the future, and prophecy sets the Bible apart from any other type of religious text, because prophecies that have been given in the Bible, all of them have come to fruition. Those talking about Jesus, and there are some that we're going to see coming in the not so distant future, hopefully. And prophecy reveals God's power. It reveals God's plan. And in my opinion, Daniel chapter 2 is where, it's the epicenter. It's the epicenter of all prophecy. It's where we can really see how one guy having a dream kind of unfolded all this stuff throughout history that nada que ver to do with Jesus, nada que ver to do with the Bible. But he just laid out so perfectly actual historical fact. So I'm gonna stop rambling and let's get started so you can know what I'm talking about. Pero agárrate, this is gonna be good. Nebuchadnezzar's dream, chapter 2. In the second year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams that troubled him, and sleep deserted him. So the king gave orders to summon magicians, mediums, sorcerers, and Chaldeans to tell the king his dreams. And when they came and stood before the king, he said to them, "I've had a dream, and I'm anxious to understand it." So he's having a dream, it's troubling him, he wants to know what it means. Here we go. Verse 4. The Chaldeans spoke to the king. "May the king live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we'll give you the interpretation." The king replied to the Chaldeans, "My word is final. If you don't tell me the dream and its interpretation, you will be torn limb from limb, and your houses will be made into a garbage dump." Hold on. He's saying, I'm not going to tell you my dream. You're going to tell me my dream, and you're going to interpret it. And if you don't tell me my dream, I'm going to tear you limb from limb. What is going on? Okay, not only is he expecting an accurate interpretation, he is expecting them to tell him what the dream is. And I don't know if you know this, but these magicians, these mediums, they probably weren't 100% telling the truth to King Nebuchadnezzar all the time. A lot of them were probably frauds. And I think, the Bible doesn't say this, but if I were someone who were relying on false gods and false prophets and a lot of things being told to me are not really coming out to be true, I think I'd get tired of that eventually. And I think he's at the point of frustration where he just wants proof. He wants proof that these gods are real. He wants proof that these idols that he worships are actually, that worship is paying off. Let's continue on verse 6. It says, "But if you make the dream and its interpretation known to me, you will receive gifts, a reward, and a great honor from me. So make the dream and its interpretation known to me." So he's saying, if you're saying you have these powers, if you're saying that the gods can have this contact with me and with us, then just do it. Don't lie to me anymore. Verse 7, they answered a second time, "May the king tell the dream to his servants, and we will make known the interpretation to him." Verse 8, and the king replied, "I know for certain that you're trying to gain some time because you see that my word is final." So he's saying, I know that you're trying to waste my time here so you can figure out what to do. You're buying time. Verse 9, if you don't tell me the dream, there's one decree for you. You have conspired to tell me something false or fraudulent until the situation changes. So tell me the dream, and I will know you can give me its interpretation. I'm sure they were freaking out. Verse 10, the Chaldeans answered the king, "No one on earth can make known what the king requests. Consequently, no king, however great and powerful, has ever asked anything like this of any magician, medium, or Chaldean. What the king is asking is so difficult that no one can make it known to him except the gods. whose dwellings are not with mortals. So they're saying, what you're asking is too much. What you're asking, only the gods can supply. And the gods don't live among us. The gods don't supply us with that kind of knowledge. Verse 12, because of this, the king became violently angry and gave orders to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. The decree was issued that the wise men were to be executed. All the wise men, not just these, all of them were to be executed. And they searched for Daniel and his friends to execute them. So remember, Daniel and his friends won God's favor. They became the smartest wise men. And now they're going to fall into this category. Continuing on. Verse 14. Then Daniel responded with tact and discretion. He's a smart guy. To Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, who had gone out to execute these wise men of Babylon. And he asked Arioch, the king officer, why is the decree from the king so harsh? Then Arioch examined the situation to Daniel. So Daniel went and asked the king to give him some time so that he could give the king his interpretation. Now, the king trusts Daniel. So I'm sure the king's like, okay, if Daniel's asking for some time, I'm going to give him some time, because remember, Daniel is the smartest of all of King Nebuchadnezzar's wise men. Continuing on with verse 17. Then Daniel went to his house, and he told his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, about the matter, urging them to ask the God of the heavens for mercy concerning this mystery. So Daniel and his friends would not be destroyed with the rest of Babylon's wise men. The mystery was then revealed to Daniel in a vision at night, and Daniel praised the God of the heavens, and he declared. So before I read what he actually praised, it's beautiful. You know, he's being, it's the thought that he's going to die. It's the thought that this is it. This is the end. And he's not plotting to try to trick the king. He's not with his friends trying to escape. He's not coming up with some weird plan to save the day. He's taking it to God, and him and his friends took it to God in prayer. And then because of their faithfulness, again, and you're going to continue to see this throughout the story of Daniel, every time Daniel is faithful, God will supply a reward. And the reward this time was a vision that Daniel got at night. And verse 20 says, and he declared, Daniel declaring his praises to God, may the name of God be praised forever and ever. For wisdom and power belong to him. He changes the time and the seasons. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals the deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. I offer thanks and praise to you, God of my fathers, because you have given me wisdom and power, and know you have let me know what we ask of you. For you have let us know the king's mystery. So he's saying, thank you, God. Thank you for revealing this. Thank you for saving my butt, right? Thank you for supplying this. Thank God Sister Danny is not Daniel from the Old Testament, because I would not have been as eloquent, right? I would have been like, thank you for saving my butt. Verse 24. Therefore Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had assigned to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He came and said to him, don't destroy the wise men of Babylon. Bring me before the king, and I will give him the interpretation. So he's saying, don't kill anybody. Don't kill anybody. I'm here. I have the interpretation. Then Arioch quickly brought Daniel before the king and said to him, I have found a man among the Judean exiles who can let the king know the interpretation. The king said in reply to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, you are able to tell me the dream I had and its interpretation? And Daniel answered the king, and this is the thing right here. Daniel answered the king. The king asks him, you can tell me the interpretation? And Daniel answers, no wise man, no medium, no magician, no diviner is able to make known to the king the mystery he is asked about. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries and has let King Nebuchadnezzar know what will happen in the last days. And I'm going to stop right there. We're going to stop halfway through the book of Daniel, through the book of, chapter 2. But what's leading up, the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, it's insane. It's about this statue made of like 4 different golds and metals. And, this statue represents some crazy things that actually happened. And you know, it's going to lead up, and I love what it says. It says that God has let King Nebuchadnezzar know what will happen in the last days. And these last days, they weren't last days in the time of Nebuchadnezzar. They were last days for us as well. Not only is the dream that Daniel is about to interpret going to become a prophecy that's going to lead through, you know, that's going to lead to answers all throughout European and Persian, Medo-Persian history. It's also going to provide answers for what's going to happen the day Jesus comes back. Again, it's crazy. Agárrate. I'm stopping here or else I'll ramble on for 30 minutes. But yeah, I hope you learned something today. I hope you're pumped and you're ready because the real meat of this chapter will be coming next Tuesday. Bye, y'all.